What's up, everyone? Hope everyone's sort of Convallaria gameplay is going great. Everybody's having a good time with the game. Soul here with another guide. Just wanted to go over Inanna since she's on a banner right now. I figured a couple people might want to know what to do with her. I know there's some guides out there, but I kind of want to put my own out there just so everybody had something to look at. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. Now, with Inanna, you obviously have a healer, and you got the whole deal. She also is a bit of a buffer. Let's have a look at her trait first and foremost. Now, at ranked 1, where most people are getting her, at the start of the battle, Inanna summons one guard of the princess. At the end of the turn, she heals one ally with the lowest HP percentage within 3 tiles of herself for 20% of her magic attack and grants them one random level 1 buff for 2 turns. This gets better progressively at each star. Mine's at 3 stars, but at 5 stars, this effect is improved to. At the start of battle, Inanna summons one guard of the princess. At the end of the turn, she heals the 2 allies with the lowest HP percentage within 4 tiles of herself for 25% of her magical attack and grants them one random level 2 buff for 2 turns. Guard of the princess's attack and defense is increased by 15%. The skill to summon the guard of the princess can be used an additional 2 times per battle. I'm sure there's situations where this is really beneficial, but for the most part, having her at 5 stars is kind of just a flex. There's not a tremendous benefit to this, in my opinion. But that's her trait. Pretty good. We like that AoE passive heal at the end of each turn, and then obviously the buff that goes out with it. Just want to shout out real quick, the princess guard its 2 abilities. One is Crippling Blow, single target attack, does 130% physical damage, and gives speed down 2 for 2 turns. The other one is Global Guard. It's a support. It takes physical attacks for all other allies within 2 tile radius of the character, and when activated, the character gains counter attack and block enhancement for 3 turns. Really good abilities for a free unit. Now, let's have a look at her ranks. At rank 1, you have 2 options. On the right, you got Defense Boost. It grants defense up 2, which is 40% buff, to all allies within the target location, and grants immunity to defense attribute debuffs. That's not bad. It's a decent sized little AoE that she can cast out and raise buffs, raise that defense. However, I chose on the left Princess's Prayer. This is a support ability that allows one ally that has already acted to act again, and grants this ally attack 2 and magic defense 2, 20% to attack, 40% to their magic defense for 2 turns. If the target is the guard's princess, additionally heals the guard for 60% of her magical attack. This act again ability is really big. I find that I use this all the time. It's really great. This in her kit is absolutely phenomenal. It's a must-have ability. Don't overlook it. Don't skip it. Grab it. It does a lot for her and her utility on the field. Now at rank 3, you have 2 options. On the right, I made this character and built her a long time ago, so I wouldn't advise picking up this ability personally. However, if you do, like I did, there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally up to you. However, it's a support, it's instant, it teleports the guard of the princess in front of Inanna and grants the guard potential burst for 2 turns. When the guard is defeated, the skill summons a new guard of the princess. So, there's nothing wrong with this. You want to be able to resummon a new guard, this, that, and the third. I don't ever use this ability. I unlocked it and honestly just kind of regret it. Oh well, got the stat buff, no big deal. On the left, you got Princess's Comfort. It's a healing ability where Inanna heals all allies within 2 tiles for 60% of her magic attack and dispels 2 of their debuffs. This is really good. Really like this a lot. It's her AoE heal. Enough said, it's phenomenal. Now up here at rank 5, you have 2 abilities. You've got Battlefield Trial. It's a reaction. It decreases damage taken by 8% for each character defeated within 5 tiles around the character. It increases her magic attack by 6% up to 30%. Now, it doesn't say for how many turns, so it leads you to believe it's the whole battle. I haven't tested this. This seems pretty nice. If you have a Sophia, this might actually do a lot for her in raising her ability to scale that magic attack. There's not really too many situations where I think that you want to, but it's definitely interesting to see this regardless. On the right, it's what I chose. It's Protection of Light. It's a reaction. When hit by an active single target attack, the damage taken is decreased by 30%. This effect can be activated 1 time per round. Not per turn, per round. So I really like this. I don't want Inanna to get one shot. I don't want her to get smacked around too much. I want her HP to stay relatively high. And so I took this just because I think it has overall more utility, and I have enjoyed having it. Now at rank 7, you have Light of Sanction. It's magic damage, deals 70% AoE damage to all enemies within 2 tiles of the target and dispels 2 buffs. It's a good little AoE pop. It's decent damage of 70%, nothing to write home about, but dispels 2 buffs is a big takeaway from that. It has 2 energy costs, but a 3-turn cooldown. It seems really, really high for this ability. On the left is what I would advise taking, which is a support ability called Soulmate. It grants all allies within 3 tiles around the character co-attack and co-defense for 3 turns. So that's increasing attack by 5% for every ally within 2 tiles up to 15%, or co-defense, which increases defense by 10% for every ally within 2 tiles up to 40%. This is really good. Just by having everybody bulked up and together and around, it's giving them a nice buff, and they're going to stack off each other, being present around each other. Really, really nice. For Aria allies, the target count for co-attack and co-defense is additionally increased by 1. So obviously, if your units are from Aria, they get a bigger benefit from this. Really, really nice. Great ability. Really, really nice ability. Now at rank 9, we get our basic attacks, which is 1 on the left, Armor Piercing Strike. Deals 80% magical damage and inflicts physical defense and magical defense down 1, which is a 20% debuff. Nothing wrong with that. On the right, there's Merciful Strike. Deals 80% magical damage, increases the effectiveness healing spell by 15%. I went with this personally because she is a healer. I like it. It makes sense to me. I don't really want her getting on the fringes of battle and trying to hit the enemy too much. And so I stayed away from Armor Piercing Strike and took Merciful Strike. Whatever you prefer, that's all that matters. This is my preference. And at rank 11, you have 2 choices. Now on the right, you got Flight of the Princess. Maybe you want to pick up both these abilities. I don't know, but this is her ultimate ability. It's a healing effect. Inanna sacrificed 90% of her current HP to dispel all debuffs. And she gains invisibility and healing 5, which is a 50% increase, and expands the range of her trait by 2 times. She heals all allies within range. All effects last 2 turns. It's really, really powerful. Really, really nice. Obviously, I don't have it. I've not utilized it. And honestly, I've not really missed it or wished I had it at any given point. However, maybe it's great, maybe it's not. It has no energy cost, just a 5-turn cooldown. I don't know. It's worth checking out. Some PvE matches. Maybe this is a big make or break and it really saves the team. I don't have it. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and if you've really enjoyed having this ability or not. On the left is what I took, which is your magic defense command. It's an aura. It increases your magic defense by 30% for all other allies within 2 tiles around the character. So just by being there, they're getting a big buff, 30% of their magic defense. I really like that. I've used it in a couple fights, boss fights in particular, and that's just me. Let me know in the comments if you think this ability is amazing, busted, or great. If I'm clearly missing out on it, I don't know. I've not really had any desire to go back and get it and spend the Castalia. As you can see, I'm really low. This is what I went with, and I don't have any remorse, buyer's remorse on that one. Alright, so that's her ranks. If we move on, let's have a look at the weapons. Now, you got several weapons that could be advised easily, and there's probably about 4 on the list, and we'll go over them each. For me, Cornucopia Staff is what I'd prefer, and so I'm a little bit of Dolphin. Not everybody's spending and has that Memento Voyage. Not the Memento Voyage, the Cornucopia levels unlocked. Regardless, Cornucopia Staff is what I like to put on her. When she's healthy, there's a 50% chance she recovers 2 energy. If she's dying, there's a 50% chance she recovers 30% HP. So when you're in the void, in between and injured, you're not really benefiting from this weapon. However, if you're healthy or if you're dying, you're obviously benefiting from this weapon. I want Inanna to be healthy at all times if possible, and so I want her to get lots of energy so that she can keep casting again and again, especially with that Act Again. Now, a lot of people would suggest, and I would too, Reorganized Cube as a good weapon. This increases the healing effect by 3%. When using a skill on an ally, additionally dispels 1 debuff. Obviously, this gets stronger as you level it up to 15%. Additional healing, really good healing item. That additional debuff removed is really big, especially in some boss fights. Another weapon that is suggested, that's often used on other mages for damage, is the Starry Sky Heritage. This increases your HP by 10% and grants magic attack bonus of 6% at 5 stars, that is, at the start of the battle. Nothing wrong with this. Absolutely buffs her healing abilities and obviously gives her some HP to work with. Really big, really important things she needs. And then if you don't have these legendaries, or maybe you don't feel comfortable using them because they're low, you haven't been able to max them out, your resources, whatever it is, maybe you're new and you just don't have it, period. Ink Totem comes in strong, with the healing effect being increased by 10%, but it's a good solid weapon, made for healers. There's nothing wrong with running this. I used it for a long time, never regretted it. Really good, solid item. Now for trinkets, we have several options. First of which, I would suggest, in my opinion, is the Old Scrolls of August. I really like this item. I didn't always have it, I only just recently got it. And so this is an instant ability that grants one other ally 1 random level 2 buff and a speed up 1 for 2 turns. This can be used 3 times per battle, and obviously it gets better as you start up. And then it has a 4-turn cooldown. Really like this. I put it on her. I think it's really good. Another thing I would suggest on her is Fancy Hat. Now Fancy Hat's an obviously great option because it's going to gain immunity to disrupt. So that means that no matter what, she's going to be able to cast her spells and use her abilities. It's very important, whether it's a trait, passive, or an active skill. You don't want her to not be able to use them because that's her whole thing. That's what she totally relies upon. And so this is a really good item to have on her just to cover your bases and keep her immune to that. And then obviously, when healthy, it increases your magic defense by 9%. And then another option that you see a lot of people suggest is Cooling Powder, and that gives her immunity to receiving no healing. There's nothing wrong with that item. I think it's decent. I wouldn't personally suggest putting it on her. If you have it, Time Space Ring is a really good option. I like that one a lot. I think it's going to give you some ability to be mobile, to get back in the right position, and to stay protected. And then obviously, or maybe not obviously, another great option is Coexist Armor, because you just don't want her to get smacked around too much. You want her to be able to mitigate damage as best as possible, and so that's another great solid option that I would suggest for her. And then last, but definitely not least worth mentioning, is Disaster Bottle. Gives her a little more utility in battle. This allows her to inflict 2 random level 2 debuffs on an enemy for 2 turns. Really good. Gives her some extra utility, as I said, so she can just throw that out there, debuff the enemy, and she's not just standing around waiting for turns to heal or cast Act again. Now, on the Terror Whisper side of things, there's a few things that we can suggest. For me, one thing that is, in my opinion, the best, because I want her casting that Act again as often as possible, especially in regular PvE matches or in regular Tower of Conquest matches, is Guidance of the World. Now, when she doesn't have anything to do, she goes into standby and doesn't do anything, doesn't utilize an active skill. She gets that 1 energy back. And then, of course, we've got the hidden effect unlocked so that it reduces the cooldown of abilities by 1. Really great. Love this. It really works for her, and so I love having it on her at any given time. Another great option that you might want to consider is obviously High Priestess. Everybody wants this on their healers. It's going to give increased healing effect, and if you have that hidden effect, it's going to do even more so at 30% and 45% when they're dying. And then the last one I'm going to shout out as a good choice for her, and I think is it depends on the fight and the situation a little bit, is the Empress. Elegance of the Empress. After casting a skill on an ally, it converts 1 debuff on the target into a level 1 buff that lasts for 2 turns. Super solid, great tarot. A little bit niche in that you don't want to bring it into every fight because it really doesn't serve a purpose if your allies aren't getting debuffed. However, when your allies are getting debuffed, this tarot is coming in screaming and doing a lot for you. So those are the 3 that I would suggest. Now, With that all said, like I told you before earlier in the video, Inanna is a healer and top of the line at that, but she's really good at buffing as well. She's got quite a few options to do so, and that act again is everything. It feels so good to be able to cast act again time and time again to give characters extra turn and to deal out that damage even more so quickly and before those enemies can act or do anything about it. It's a huge unfair advantage when you're fighting those units and those matches and those fights that don't have the option to do that. It really gives you an edge on them. And so that ability is absolutely nuts. It's really, really strong. And she's bringing it to the table for your team and party at any given time. So without going too much further and yammering too much about it, that's me, my guide on Inanna, how I would build her. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree. I love your feedback regardless of what it is, and we can talk about it. That's how we grow in this game. That's how we learn more, and so I want to see it. And then, if you don't mind, drop me a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're really growing on the channel, and I'm really grateful to all of my supporters. Thank you so much for everything. Without any further ado, or as I always say, I'm going to log out, turn it off. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much again. Bye.